flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey. So it's funny part of both. Also, that was going to help. We're trying to read just as we stepped up. Perfect.
You got an extra? Sure.
I got an extra.
Like, oh, where are you going? Where are you sitting? Where are you supposed to go?
Me?
We have no idea. Over yonder.
Darn it.
Hey, Chris, if anybody tries to join, do I let them in?
I think so.
Okay. So we're here to discuss a couple of courses being proposed at CHS. The first one is Life Skills Beyond High School, the next step. So it looks like this is a course that expands upon the foundational skills learned in career skills to equip high school seniors with advanced practical life skills necessary for successful transition to independent living after graduation. Building on resume development, this course prioritizes guidance on navigating the college application, military enlistment, and employment processes through intensive scholarship searches and understanding initial employment paperwork in the first half of the semester, followed by delving into financial management, housing, household management, and enhancing problem solving and future planning skills. Scholarship related tasks and reminders will be integrated throughout the remainder of the course, even for students not pursuing higher education immediately. The curriculum is aligned with National Family and Consumer Sciences standards, particularly those within the areas of consumer and family resources, personal and family finance, and career, community, and family connections. The financial literacy components of this course directly address Montana's graduation requirement in financial literacy. Students will also begin to develop a professional portfolio to showcase their skills and experiences for future opportunities. Course objectives are listed. The syllabus is also listed within this document. It's pretty similar to the actual course description itself. I know that I had this out on the calendar invite. Any comments, any questions about this particular course?
Is it a necessary course thing?
It's not a required class, it would be an elective.
Part of it, I would say, would fit within our Title VI goals for college and career readiness. So I would say that, and that was actually something when I met with the Title VI committee, the parent committee, it was actually something they specifically stated that they wanted more of at CHS. So I do like the course in that way, because I do think that it helps us meet those requests from families of our Indian children. And of course, it benefits everybody. Those skills after high school, I would argue that an 18-year-old kid has a really hard time deciding what they want to do after high school. And so maybe if we offer a course that provides that guidance, we can kind of help them on their way. So I do like that. One thing that I would say, just a comment that I have about this particular course, if you look at the assessment portion, that's actually on the second to last page. One of the strengths of this course is that it discusses how it's in alignment with family and consumer science standards. However, when we look at assessment, the very first thing on the assessment page is class participation, and that's 15% of the grade. Class participation is not aligned with any standard whatsoever. I think that we could take that 15% and align it with actual content that we want kids to know. But that's really my main critique of this course and its description at this point.
Would this have to be in place of a different elective then? Would one have to be dropped?
I mean, I gotta say, I really like some of the courses covered, resumes, scholarships, taxes. Health and insurance. That's a nightmare when you get over trying to figure that out, so.
A little personal finance as well as a little bit of career skills.
This is some real life.
I think that's the piece a lot of our kids are missing. They're not learning anywhere else, they're not out in the real world. Put a lot of time into this.
I guess I'm looking for direction from you as our curriculum director. What do you feel is best for our kids?
I would be in favor of this course
Okay.
moving forward to the board.
Okay.
I do think that with the adjustment to the assessment piece, we need to follow the law, and the law says that we have to have a competency-based model in our schools. Class participation has nothing to do with competence.
Yep.
It has to do with sitting in a chair. So we don't need to grade that, but we do need to grade the actual skills that we want kids to know.
So before this comes to the board, that needs to be adjusted. That needs to be amended, sorry,
Great.
Yeah, I'm all for this.
minus that piece.
Minus that, yeah.
And that shouldn't have been in that kind of stat, break on behavior.
Okay. If we're good with that, then I think we should move forward with it. We need to vote on that, Steve, or?
I don't think so, because
We just
you're
take it back to the
gonna
board.
present it to the
Okay.
board,
Okay.
and the board will vote on it, so I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's past the steering committee. If we had any issues here, then it would not come to the board.
All right, with that, we'll go on to the next one. This is our final item of the night. This is Transition algebra.
Thanks, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. So transition algebra, presently, and Robin, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we're calling this sophomore algebra right now on our course description. But
That's where it started, but you want to kind of move like the transitional algebra is a more appropriate topic and that falls under.
yes, that's the OPI name for a course of this nature. Okay, transition algebra courses review and extend algebra and geometry concepts for students who have already taken Algebra 1 and geometry. I guess I'm going to stop right there just for a moment. I guess where do we take this course right now, Robin? Does it happen?
Before algebra 2.
But it does happen after geometry?
Yes.
Okay. Transition algebra courses include a review of such topics as properties and operations for real numbers, evaluation of rational algebraic expressions, solutions and graphs of first-degree equations and inequalities, transition of word problems into equations, operations and factoring of polynomials, simple quadratics, properties of plane and solid figures, rules of congruence and similarity, coordinate geometry, including lines, segments, and circles in the coordinate plane, and angle measurement in triangles, including trigonomic ratios. Okay. I guess Would you like to speak on this one a little bit?
So we have two very competent math teachers based on the data and what they were seeing with students. They were finishing Algebra 1, geometry, going into Algebra 2, and they were not ready for Algebra 2. The gap was large there. They were just missing a lot of foundational skills and some holes. So they labeled it sophomore algebra. I'm not sure even where that came from, but they wanted a transition class that could beef up those skills before the kids went into Algebra 2. So they put a lot of time and effort into it, and I think they've done a great job.
Does this class already exist though, or not?
We have it in place right now, like they've put it together, so yes.
So have you offered it before?
No, we
Okay.
just are starting this year.
Okay,
So,
and
and we
so,
had a little miscommunication because we thought, we had discussed it at a steering committee, but we didn't take it onto the board, so that's where we're back at.
oh, okay, but kids are taking this
Yes.
currently? And then is it by teacher recommendation then?
And based on scores and performance. So,
How many kids are in now?
I don't know for sure how many kids are in there. I want to say 12.
Derek, what do you think about this class for our kids?
I'm torn on this one a little bit. I
Okay.
gotta be honest. Okay, so from what we've just discussed here, the question being asked is what do students know? Or is what they know adequate? And that to me is a curriculum question. It calls into question curriculum or what kids know. However, offering a course is how to know something. So that's instruction. It's how you teach something and not really what you know per se. I'm not saying that I'm entirely against this course at this time, but what I'm really more in favor of is curriculum alignment. I mean, that's what this really speaks to me, is that we have a misalignment in our curriculum because we have two courses that are supposed to be prerequisites for Algebra 2, and they are not adequately preparing students for that particular course. And that speaks to me as we have an alignment problem and maybe not necessarily an instructional problem. Adding a course answers instructional questions, not curriculum related questions. So that's where I have a little bit of difference on this one. I would rather see curriculum alignment. That's what I would rather see.
My other question here is, how are they in this class if it hasn't come before the board? How are they gonna get credit for this class if it hasn't came before the board yet?
We thought this had been approved.
But it hasn't, so they're not gonna get credit for this class.
Well, the way it's coded right now, they'll have credit.
I don't think so. This has not come before the board. There is not, they will not get credit for this class. That has to come before the 5, and it has to be approved.
So what do we do with those kids now? Right? They're taking this course, they're not gonna get credit for it.
It was similar, but it was, when we used to have, 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Right.
That class did exist, but
Right.
it wasn't labeled this.
Sure.
So,
So-
I agree with the curriculum alignment. If we're not getting them through this and then this and preparing them for this,
Mhm.
adding something else, no, we need to get them through Algebra 1 and geometry for Algebra 2, not just creating another course. All we've talked about is curriculum alignment.
and that's true, but not all kids are at the same level in math. Like, some of them are coming through Algebra 1 and they're not getting it. They need that repeat,
Then they take
Revisit.
Algebra 1 again.
reteach, well, then they don't get credit. So, we've lost our title person, we've lost our intervention, so this was their answer to trying to beef up that instruction and help get those kids ready.
Scott?
I don't think that, sorry, Scott, I didn't mean to interrupt. First of all, I don't think they can get credit for this because it hasn't come before the board. At the end of the day, we have to follow policy, right? Policy states it has to come before the board, before a class is approved, before curriculum is approved, is that correct?
That's our policy, yes.
So until it comes before the board and board members vote on it, it's not an approved class. So therefore, those kids aren't gonna get credit for it.
We can go back to where it was labeled before, the classes that were accepted before, and when they're math 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can recode it that way, if that makes more sense.
Can you code it?
Scott, what do you think?
She's looking for the codes. I do believe that you can give interventions for kids. From my experiences, I got rid of these classes because I don't know. I'm going back to what Derek said, I guess. How are they being taught? What are we doing coming up to this? Why are we putting in a whole other class? I think it's a whole K-12 systematic thing that needs to be looked at. Why aren't they ready? You know? I used to teach intermediate algebra years and years and years ago when I was high school principal, but we phased it out. I just think, yeah, there probably are holes right now. I can't disagree, Robin, and with the math teachers, I'm sure they're seeing it. But long-term, I think we need to do something from what I'm hearing from all of them really are saying the same thing. We got a gap, we got a problem, and it shouldn't exist. To have to put a whole other class in. I do think that our teachers need to be working on tier 2 interventions within the classroom, not just, our classes are small enough where they should be able to remediate these kids in Algebra 1 and geometry, and we have advisory, and I know they have TAS and other times too, and they can get remediation. I mean, I don't want to disagree with 2 math teachers, but to put a whole other class in, I would do it.
Robin, how many of these kids are sophomores? Are they all sophomores in it? Sorry?
Sophomores and juniors.
If we did it, I'd do it for temporary purposes, to give us time to do a K-12. I know math comes up next year with the alignment process, help the kids right now, but I don't like it long-term, but I never have. I mean, I ended up pushing Algebra 1 and geometry down to 8th grade, getting kids ready to advance, not to kind of slow down and pull back a little bit. It feels like I phased out pre-algebra 2 at high school. It feels a little bit like pre-algebra kind of, get them ready for algebra 2. I'm not sure why algebra 1 isn't. I don't know as much as Derek does or Robin about why they're not getting ready for algebra 2. But this is pretty much a traditional path, is algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2. I know a transitional map is in there, it's taught, but now you just went through, are you ever gonna get them to algebra 2? Because we have 3 years is all that's required for math, and you kind of have to look at that. So to get them to the algebra 2, their 4th year, they're not going to take it. So is the importance of algebra 2 there or not? And there's a lot of questions. And he's pointing towards the right direction. There really needs to be a whole alignment process done. So to me, I don't like it long term. I can't disagree with it, I guess, short term. And I think we should look for a code that helps these kids. I kind of hear him talking that there was something in the past that we could code it as that was board approved,
Yeah,
but it wasn't this year. I know that.
And you're right, short term, about what happened, I think the way we got into this, and Michelle can speak to this too, is we had a group of kids that were taking algebra at the 8th grade level. And when they came up here, algebra at the 8th grade level, no matter who was teaching it, is not the same as algebra at the high school level.
It can be.
But it wasn't.
Well,
And
it
so
wasn't, right,
they're
but
coming
that's
up
a
and
curriculum
there's
issue.
holes and there's gaps and
Shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be.
but it put the kids at a disadvantage. And we did them a disservice pushing them on when,
Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing. There was an issue, obviously, they missed some
Yes.
skills, they're needing it.
That goes with alignment though.
So entirely an alignment
That's
issue.
entirely an alignment issue.
But I tend to agree with Scott on this one. I see the need presently, but
Okay,
it should not be a need long-term.
okay,
There should be conditions on this. It should, I mean, we got to pull it together.
Yep.
And align this curriculum so that those kids, no matter where they take their algebra, middle school, high school, no matter where, they're ready for that next step.
Mhm.
And that's on us. That's a complete curriculum alignment thing. It's not an instructional problem. The teachers are competent and they're doing their jobs. It's just what is being taught. That's the problem.
Well, I know
That's
you
what some of
looked
the
into what that curriculum was last year at the middle school, and you came to me and said, we have an approved curriculum that we need to purchase some of that we are not using and not teaching.
Well, hold on, I want to differentiate though. Those are instructional resources.
Right,
Okay, and that's a whole different deal. Right now, at this time, Colstrip Public Schools has absolutely no curriculum in math. None.
right.
We have no curriculum. We have a lot of instructional resources, but we do not have curriculum. And a curriculum is something that cannot be bought at a store. It is something that you develop. It's something that you work with teachers on, and you say, these are the things, this is what will be taught at each grade level. And then you go out and you look at your instructional resources and say, these are the things that we're going to purchase that will help us teach this content to kids. Those are two different things. Curriculum and instruction, they often get intertwined in educational jargon, but they are two very distinct and separate things. Curriculum is what you teach, and instruction is how you teach it. They're two separate deals. Okay, a textbook is how you teach something, and the stuff that is inside the textbook that the kids learn, that's curriculum. They're two separate things. When your kid comes home and you say, what did you learn at school today? They say something like, I learned how to multiply 2-digit by 2-digit numbers. That's a curriculum answer. It'd be weird if they came home and you said, well, what did you learn at school today? And they said, I learned page 45 of the textbook, because that's instruction. That's how they learned it. They learned it using page 45. That's how, that's instruction. But what they learned, 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication, that's curriculum. Those are things that have to be decided by teachers and administration. Those are discussions.
But you did take some steps last year to try to get
Yeah,
some of those materials.
try to shore some of that
Yeah.
out.
an alignment isn't a task or an overnight thing. I mean, it's a process.
It takes a lot of
Something we're
time.
gonna have to work towards, and each year it's gonna get better and better and better. So.
It's gonna be difficult to put a process together, keep it short term.
yep. I agree.
Next year's our math year. I mean, that's the thing. Next year's the year that we've decided that we're gonna do math.
In 2026,
That's the year where we're supposed to be sitting down, making this alignment happen, discussing instructional resources. Next year's supposed to be the year. That's on our curriculum guidance schedule.
Is that also when the state's got the new revised standards coming out? Is that this spring?
This summer, this coming summer, is when those revised standards are gonna come
Yeah,
out.
everybody's been waiting.
So our timing is good as far as the alignment goes. And with those new standards coming out, we can have those discussions focused right around those. And our instructional resources, once we decide to purchase them, will also be in alignment with what we decide to teach.
So you can get that alignment done in a year.
Did it with ELA. You know,
That's true.
We did it with our math last year.
Yeah.
So can we do do a title for this year and then? Come up with anything, Chris?
As far as course codes,
Yeah, to make this an interim until it's aligned,
not, I mean, there's several in here. It's just a matter of what you want
put it as,
to.
And that's why we chose the transitional algebra, because
Yeah, that is
but
good.
not one you've had before though. So what did you
I
use when
can't
you had
find it.
title?
well, we have.
Individualized math.
individualized math.
And that was elective, right, for kids, it's not like full math credits.
But I think that could be the first description box.
Yeah, you'd have to go back before 1920. That's as far as I've got, just because that's when I started. Because the first bills are the only ones I had is intro to algebra, algebra 1, geometry, individualized math, and then it's highlighted. And then, but it's kind of nice because those are pointed out, teacher recommendation, or it says 75% or better in algebra 1. If not, maybe required to take individualized math. So, I mean, there's kind of descriptions in with that too from, what is this, 1920, I think. Yeah, 1920 handbook,
2020?
1920.
2019.
Okay. 1920.
I heard it that way.
Sorry.
Trying to
Intro
follow
to
everything.
Algebra 1, geometry, individualized math, Algebra 2, senior math, honors pre-calc, and honors calc was what was on there then. So I don't even have all those previous ones like you guys were talking about on these. Yeah. It'd be kind of like that other one, that just have to be found somewhere where we.
So can we do that? For now, and then align. So it won't actually be, this class won't actually be accepted by the steering committee, but in there, we can use our coding to figure out how it fits.
Yeah.
Into the current, what we currently have that has already been approved in the past. And then when next year comes, line it and build where it needs to go. Maybe it'll be a freshman class. Maybe it's those kids coming up from middle school that need it, or.
It just kind of feels like you're taking kids again more and more out of the mainstream, and you're putting them in a lower level class. And I agree, they're missing skills. Obviously, we have to make up for that right now. But I mean, teachers, that's where classes have to differentiate. They have to get to where they are doing tiered instruction. What are we doing for the strugglers? Tier 2 level. What are we doing besides taking them out, putting them in a title room? Well, taking them out, putting them in another room. I don't agree with that. I mean, I think, yeah, it's a fix for now, a type of Band-Aid in a way to help these kids that miss stuff. What the math teachers are seeing, you have to fix it K-12. I just, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, continue on. I think kids will do what's expected of them. I think teachers will. I think we're on the right course, but we've obviously had some problems and some gaps. How long, I don't know, but I guess for me, my whole background is to have people in an inclusive classroom. I've been talking to Jen a lot about it. I'm not a real big fan of pulling kids out, putting them in something different. But if it has to be, it has to be for a while.
I guess until you can get the 11 done.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction that I would recommend going, is have it be a conditional course. It needs to be done
In 2026,
Yeah.
at the completion of the 2026 school year.
26, 27 school year, yeah. Yep, because
27 school year.
that's the year that we'll be doing the alignment for math.
Okay, gotcha.
It's the math alignment year.
I mean, I can buy into that.
Yeah, I think it's short term. We should try to align. It's not gonna just benefit this cohort of kids and the next cohort of kids, but it's gonna benefit every single kid, including the incoming kindergartners that we have for the foreseeable future. So this work is really important.
I think especially with math, I've seen it where it's been a pre-algebra sequence, an algebra sequence. I've seen the AB geometries, but then I've also seen that be taken away, and you're getting your kids ready and have higher expectations of them, and you phase out pre-algebra, you phase some of those lower ones out. I mean, I've actually been in those classes. I used to have them taught in my high school. I got rid of them. I mean, those kids are basically tracked. They're causing trouble. You know, math needs to be challenging. It needs to be relevant. And I think we have to do it K-12. It's not just a high school issue. It's a district issue. I know you worked on it last year. I know that they're working on changing things in middle school from conversations that we had last year with what they are teaching, how they're teaching it. So it's going to take a while, but yeah, I think we need to step it up.
So we have an intro to algebra, an algebra 1. Trying to think, code wise, I don't. There's a lot of different ones you could, under, I guess. I don't know, I'd have to check with the state too and see what I can do, because we report a teacher class in October.
You reported what, Chris?
We report what teacher teaches what class, so they look at your course codes and everything. So we report with OPI, so I don't know how it was coded when we did that.
I think the code that was actually used was the transition algebra code
Okay.
for that sophomore algebra class.
Okay.
I do believe it. Don't quote me on that, but I'm
Yeah,
almost certain
I'd have
that's
to
what I
look at
saw
my
when I
report.
looked.
Yeah, because I saw sophomore algebra and I said, it doesn't exist.
Right.
We can't.
I would be in favor of going back to the actual state name of that, just so that we're on the up and up with accreditation and whatnot.
Which is transitional algebra.
Transition algebra, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's how you have to present it, that it's gonna be short term, and it's gonna follow its alignment.
And it will end at the 26th. When we
27th,
align
yeah.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best course of action at this point.
I don't like it.
I would rather see curriculum alignment. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of that, because I really think that overcomes a lot of what ails schools as far as the academics go.
And when's the last time alignment was offered to the high school teachers? When Gillette was here?
Jill, up to
Yeah,
a
so
long time.
Yeah,
they saw a problem, and this is what they did to fix it, because we don't have any alignment and haven't had it for.
yeah, the two that Robin's talking about, they're right. They're definitely right.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's how we'll proceed then. Yep. Okay, everybody, well, that's all I've got this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.